All right, what's going on, dudes, and welcome back to some more Fortress Fallout. So with the second round of beta testing hopefully getting underway at some point early next week, I wanted to show you what's up, new updates, what's been worked on, things and stuff. But before I get into that, let me give the usual background that I give in these videos, which is that Fortress Fallout is a game that I've been working on with some developers since this past August, and it's not yet out. We're still in development, but we're getting close. We are getting close. But when it is released, it'll be a free-to-play title on iOS and Android devices. In case this is the first time you're seeing this, now you know what's up. If you want to look at the playlist that's sort of chronicled the development of the game, you can check the description, and you'll find a link there. Anyway, also, with the second round of beta testing coming up, if you want to be a part of that, go over to the forum.fortressfallout.com, make an account. Put in an accurate email when signing up, because we will be sending out invites via email, and then follow the instructions on the forum to put what device you're using in your Yahoo Messenger ID in your profile. Anyway, all that out of the way, let's get into things. So, first and foremost, what do we have? Well, we actually have a new interface for the achievement. So, basically, what was missing in the first round of beta testing are progression. Things that you can achieve as you, achievements, obviously, sort of speaks for itself. Things that you can achieve as you play. So we have the achievements sort of detailed out here. Things for winning, getting different amounts of wins. As you fill up that bar from left to right, and you complete, for example, with the Neophyte Tactician, the first 10 wins, then it switches over to the next tier, and you get that image. So you see the thumbs up image. When you complete the achievement there, you're actually able to use that image when we go into play and start battle. You'll notice there's this drop-down menu, and I can actually choose what title I want to use. So if I select Amateur Looter, it allows me to choose that little graphical image. So things that you can play to unlock. That is sort of what was missing in the first round of beta testing, is making it so, hey, as you play, you get rewarded for things. So all these features were planned. We just didn't have them implemented for the first round of beta testing. So those will be there this time. We've also got the leaderboards, which that button was there in the last video that I made, but I didn't click on it because it wasn't really ready. But now we've got a more finalized interface, and we've got different filters, so you can filter the leaderboards by all time, this month, this week, different time periods. And then you can also just search for who is globally the number one user. Then you can search for who is sort of around you, centered, and then just among your friends, who's on top. And then we've got wins. The achievement points is what AP stands for. That'll probably be going away, because ultimately, once people complete all the achievements, they're all just going to have the same score until we add more. So it's probably in the final product just going to be wins. Experience points, which is another thing which I'll get to in just a second, and ELO, which is essentially your rank. It'll just be changed to rank, I guess. It's just basically your skill. That's what it'll be changed to. This is actually the number that is used when determining who to match you against. It tries to match you against someone who has a similar ELO value to you, in the hopes that it's a fair competitive match. So anyway, with that said, those are the leaderboards. And then we also have, as I mentioned, the whole experience thing. So over here, let me see. If I click Start Battle, you'll notice that right now it says I'm level 3. So we have a leveling system. It goes from level 1 to 30. And each level gets progressively, it takes more and more time, more and more battles, more experience in order to get to that level. So obviously levels 28, 29, 30, they're going to take a long time to get to, whereas 1, 2, 3 go by pretty quickly. So as you play, as you destroy blocks, everything gives you experience, and you can keep leveling up, and then you keep getting the achievements, etc., as you complete those. And so the whole idea is just adding progression, things to work towards. And then later on in the future, once we add more weapons, once we add more support blocks, more special blocks, more building blocks, we'll also tie those into level unlock. So you'll unlock the ability to craft them once you hit a certain level. So that sort of thing will happen in time. That'll probably be in post-launch updates, though. But it gives us lots of flexibility to do things with the level-up system in order to keep going with that progression, to progress with the progression, to be redundant. All right, also, what do we have? So you'll notice that when I drag around on the screen, there's a little 3x3 grid-looking window that pops up. It shouldn't actually pop up when we're panning around, but it is just a little bug. It needs to be tweaked because it was actually only added yesterday. But the idea was that I'm playing on an iPad, which is great, but what we found in the first round of beta testing is that most people are actually playing on their phones. And as a result of that, when you're, say, dragging the eraser around, or you're trying to paint with blocks, which I can't do there because I've used all the brick that I can, but if I'm trying to paint with the wood, your finger sort of obscures what you're doing. And so we wanted to remedy it with something similar to what, Apple and Google do when you're trying to select text on the device, how it magnifies that area so that your finger's not in the way. So we did a similar thing there in the hopes that it makes it a little bit easier to actually see where you're going to be dragging something. So if I drag a catapult onto the screen, it's harder to see because obviously you don't see my finger obscuring things when you're just watching the raw gameplay capture. But if you can picture my finger sort of obscuring that area on the device over the catapult, this just gives you over in the upper left-hand corner an unobscured view, so you know exactly where you're going to drop it, which, yeah, is something of help. Now, that same thing also carries over to the battle screen. The only problem is that right now, Forever Alone, I don't have anyone to play against, but if I go into practice mode, I can sort of explain. So again, the issue is this is especially an issue if you're on an iPhone, and we wanted to address it, is that if you're trying to place a shield by clicking and dragging over another block, it's really hard to see where it's actually going to land because your finger is totally obscuring it. So we created the magnification window again on the battle screen. So if I go, again, it's basically if I go on my device, click on this thing, the shield, and start dragging it, then it does that magnification thing, so I know exactly I'm going to drop it over my catapult and good to go. So we're trying to add optimizations to help with the usability on smaller devices, because I mean obviously it's great if you're on an iPad, but if you're on the go, you're probably going to be using your phone, which is what we saw in the beta test. So anyway, this whole magnification thing is just aimed at making that a little bit easier so you know exactly where you're going to drop the thing and you don't accidentally just drag it off and don't actually hit anything with it. So anyway, just little minor tweaks here and there. We've gotten to the point where the only actual big feature that's missing is the tutorial. The rest is all there, essentially. There are just some parts that need work. Bug fixes, little art tweaks here and there, but all the features for launch are for the most part in there but the tutorial. So it's exciting seeing that we're getting pretty close, but again, we want to be safe. That's why we're having all these beta tests, just to make sure that when we do release, it's gonna be a good product. So yeah, we don't want to release something that's unfinished. We want to make sure we've done everything we can within reason to make sure it's the best thing that we're able to put out. So yeah, that is the idea. So yeah, we've got that zoom window thing. Basically, that's the big optimization in battle that will hopefully help people out. Now, if we back out though, we have slightly increased the size of the inventory interface again for the sake of phones, so that it's just easier to select between the different tabs here. We will actually probably be changing up the tab system just so that it has scalability. So when we do add different types of items in the future, it can just be more of like a menu where you select which category you want, and then it comes back in. I don't know. We'll get to it in time. But anyway, nothing's really changed in crafting. Again, the temp tutorial is there. Crafting has pretty much stayed identical. You just select which block you want, click craft, and you're good to go there for the most part. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of updates for the second round of beta testing. At the moment, we're just trying to work out some bugs with like lag issues and matchmaking, just to make sure it's running very well. Because in the previous version, we had an issue where once you hit like around the 3-minute mark, the device would just start to chug, frames would lag, and we want to make sure that's solved before we start sending this one out. So that's what's being worked on at the moment. And yeah, so in the meantime though, since we are aiming to release early on next week. If you're interested, again, I highly encourage you to go on over to the forum. It's linked in the description. Make an account, input an accurate email address when you sign up so that we do send you an email and you'll see it when you get invited. And yeah, then just follow the instructions there to input iOS or Android in your Yahoo Messenger ID slot. You can also check last week's vlog. I'll actually just go ahead and play that little clip that I had in the last vlog about how you add your device type into your profile. So anyway, now that's playing in the background, and cool. So on that note, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, a rating would be super very much appreciated. But on that note, hopefully I'll see a lot of you in the beta next week, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.